Welcome everyone to the Lofi Poli Sci podcast. I'm your host, Michael Pickering. That's right. Lo-fi as in low fidelity, low quality, in your face, messy as can be, global news show. Here we're going to talk about that famous question, what's going on in the world today? And it's Wednesday, time for that Lo-fi. Oh, whoa, I think not. Not today, oh no. We gonna rant, we gonna rave, we're going. Pickering Unplugged. Cue the music. Coming at us from that Africa section of NPR, Chad's president, Idris Deby, reportedly killed during clash with rebels. Ooh, so much to say. Let's get into it. On Monday, we talked about how the US and the UK governments ordered their non-essential personnel out of the country of Chad, as rebel fighters were entering Chad from neighboring Libya. We also talked about the presidential election that was concluding from the weekend, and how it looked like President Deby would likely win again for the 6th time, extending his rule as president over 30 years. And today, or yesterday, we find out that he won with 80% of the vote, which we all know that no one wins a free and fair presidential election with 80% of the vote. But what's more, that he had gone to the front lines of the battlefield to deal with the invading rebels. And during battle, it's reported that he was killed. Let's take a quick second to say, the loss of human life is always tragic. Period. Now, let this sink in for a minute, Lo-Fi Nation. A president of a country was reportedly killed on the battlefield by invading rebel forces right after he won 80% of the vote and the presidential election to continue his rule for over 30 years. Now a military council has taken control of the government in his name, dissolved parliament, closed all the borders of the country, ordered a countrywide curfew, and named President Deby's son as acting interim president of the military council, which will rule for the next 18 months until new elections can be had. People, we're going to go out on a limb here. Oh, yes, we will. This was a military coup inside of Chad. Number one, if the president did die in battle, which, it's 2021, people, no president of any country would be on the very front lines and jeopardize their rule, especially one who had just won or stolen re-election and had been ruling for over 30 years already. But however he died, the presidency should have passed to the next in line from the civilian government, be it the prime minister or a major cabinet secretary or speaker. So why is it that the military took over and handed it over to the now dead president's son? Number two, it's not being said how he died, or even when exactly he died, and if he died during the battle with rebel forces. So why put the country on lockdown as though you did something wrong, military? It's almost like you're trying to cover up a coup until you can secure and or eliminate any pro-President Deby loyalist forces that may object to your little coup. And number three, we here on Lofi Poli Sci don't care what the US and France are saying about them being sad that their good friend, yes, finger quotes here, that their good friend passed away. Shenanigans. This was not a nice man ruling a country that was a flourishing democracy with a flourishing economy that respected the human rights of, barely anyone. So look, we're going to hit you up with some fast statistics, all stuff that we've gone over here before. We'll hit you with the meaning of each one of them and then sum it all up together to give you a good idea of what kind of president this was and what kind of country he made Chad to be. To provide perspective on the person France and the US are calling their good old pal. And yes, finger quotes again. Okay, let's roll with it. Chad, their GDP, gross domestic product, for 2019 was about $11.5 billion. So that's the size of their entire economy. Sounds like a lot, right? But wait for it, because it's not. Their GDP per capita, so all the money in the economy divided by the population to give you the average amount of money all citizens would make if income was completely equal in the country. Their GDP per capita is about $700 a person per year. Starting to get the picture yet? Oh, but we're just getting started. Their Gini Index, a measure of income inequality in the country, meaning how unequal income and wealth distribution is in the country. In 2011, it was 0.43. Whoa, 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 you may be saying. Why such old data? I'll tell you why. Because authoritarian leaders don't really like putting data out there that tells everyone just how much they're stealing from the country. But we'll get to that. So in 2011, Chad's Gini Index was a 0.43, meaning they have income inequality almost equal to that of the United States, which is high if you didn't know. Now you know. But income inequality that high, put in the context of a poor country, means that the GDP per capita of about $700 a person a year, it means the reality is that most people live on far less than that in 1 year in the country of Chad. Now, the country's HDI, the Human Development Index, which measures life expectancy at birth, expected or average years of schooling, and income measured in GNI. The country's Human Development Index score for 2019 was a 0.398, placing it 187 out of 189 countries in the world, one of the lowest scores on the planet. Average educational attainment is about 2.5 years of schooling. That's it, 2.5 years of schooling for people on average. An average life expectancy at birth is only about 54 years old. Now, are you starting to see? But still, we ain't done. Chad's Freedom House score, meaning how free a country is, was 17 out of 100 in 2020, making it one of the least free and most authoritarian countries in the world. Chad's Reporters Without Borders score, which ranks countries by media freedoms. In 2020, Chad was 123 out of 180. As far as media freedoms go, Chad was below Afghanistan in media freedoms. And Transparency International, which ranks countries via their Corruption Perception Index on how corrupt countries are perceived to be. In 2020, Chad was 160 out of 180 countries ranked, making it one of the most corrupt countries in the world. So now, let's put it all together. Chad, under President Deby's 30-year rule, is one of the most corrupt countries, a country with some of the worst media freedoms in the world, one of the most authoritarian countries in the world, one of the poorest and least developed countries in the world. And all of that after being ruled by one person for 30 years. This president was a repressive autocrat who didn't stand for any opposition to his power. He came to power in 1990 by a military coup that he led, and he never left power. And after 30 years in power, he wins/steals another election to try and extend his 30 years of rule even further, after creating a legacy of poverty, corruption, and repression. And suddenly, he dies on the battlefield during an invasion by rebel forces, and the military dissolves parliament, locks down the country, and names his son head of the military council that will lead the country for the next 18 months? Oh, breathe. Lo-Fi listeners, if this isn't an internal military coup with a shitty design for a cover-up story, then we ain't Lofi Poli Sci. This is ridiculously, obviously a military coup to seize power from a horrible president that the military was tired of. They saw a chance with the invading rebels and used it as a smokescreen to take power behind the curtains. They put his son as the figurehead of the coup to try and keep the backing of President Deby's supporters, but locked down the country in case any of those supporters saw through this thin veil of bullshit so they could take care of them if need be. And that is what's going on in the world today, just in the country of Chad. And just another day on planet Earth. And just another Pickering Unplugged. Cue the music. Oh, no, we think not. This rant ain't over yet. We still have to come back to the fact that the U.S. and France are giving their condolences to this repressive, corrupt, authoritarian leader. So why are they? Perhaps a question better saved for tomorrow's episode of Connecting the Dots. Now, cue the music. And that's a brief snapshot of what's going on in the world today. Saturday, we come out with issue 3 of Letters of the Lofi Poli Sci. Get at me to be added to the emailing list. Do you have top 10 ideas? Send them on in. Do you have good news to share? Please share it with us. Interested in being a co-host? Interested in the Flashcast, live stream, episode takeovers? Always remember that Lofi Poli Sci is more than just me. It's the we that we be. Peace and well-being to all my human beings out there. Much love and always the best. Pickering, signing off.